The cryopod's alarm shrieks. Oxygen, 5%. Inside, a body sealed for over a century jolts awake.
I am still alive? The oxygen. I have to break the seal.
He drives his shoulder against the iced hatch. The metal groans, then gives. Riku spills onto the frozen floor, gasping.
Everything's frozen. How long was I under? The silence is worse than the cold.
A terminal screen glows weakly. Cryo duration, 103 years. External temperature, -70 Celsius. Solar status, object missing.
The sun? Missing? That's impossible. Unless the entire world out there is already dead.
His only lifeline stands in the center of the lab, the prototype fusion reactor, silent and sheathed in frost.
If I can start it, there's a chance. If not, I freeze before the hour ends.
Fumbling with cold, deadened fingers, he engages the manual override. The reactor hums a low, unstable thrum that shakes the frozen floor. The core glows a weak, wavering blue. Lab lights flicker on, but the terminal still reads that single, impossible word. Missing. Riku stumbles through the dark lab, past rows of dead cryopods, to a sealed storage vault.
Seeds. Wheat, rice, vegetables. The lab preserved everything for a restoration that was supposed to happen decades ago.
He triggers the defrost cycle. Ice retreats from labeled canisters. Enough to feed 1,000 people, if there were 1,000 left.
I can't be the only one. There must be survivors. But where? A century of snow covers every trace.
He finds the lab director's log, time-stamped 97 years past. Voice trembling. It lists cryo failures one by one. Pod 07. Cardiac arrest during cycle. Pod 12. Neural degradation. Pod 23. Power loss. All others, hibernation failure. I am the last.
All dead. Every colleague, every friend who went under. I slept through a century to wake alone.
But the lab's seismic sensors still ping. Faint thermal vents under the ice, geothermal pockets where humans could, in theory, survive. He spots one cluster just 3 kilometers east. If he can reach it, if anyone is alive there, they need heat. Immediately.
I'll take the core. A portable fusion module, enough to power a cavern. I won't just bring hope, I'll bring a sun.
The airlock door groans open. A shard of black sky and frozen ground. Riku's boots crunch on ice that hasn't melted in a century. Before him, the dead metropolis of Naka. Buildings entombed in ice. A monochrome graveyard lit by the ghostly aurora.
No sun, no warmth, no sound. Just my breath clouding the visor. This is what the end of everything looks like.
He stands there for a long minute, the weight of a dead world pressing against his suit. The reactor in the pack pulses, a tiny heartbeat.
I should just lie down, let the cold take me. What's the point of being the last man alive?
But then he sees it, a faint glow on the horizon. Not the sun, but the hot springs the sensors found a reason.
Number. I didn't crawl out of that pod to freeze now. There are people there, and I have the only fire left.
He turns back, re-enters the lab. The airlock seals. Now he must build a sled strong enough to carry both reactor and hope. In the hangar, he strips insulation panels and rigs a heated sled. The reactor's energy will keep the cold at bay for a few hours.
3 kilometers across the ice. If I fail, no one will ever know. If I succeed, civilization starts again with me.
The sled glides across the ice plain, reactor humming a low blue rhythm. Riku hunches against wind that hasn't relented in a century. Geothermal steam plumes ahead, betraying a narrow cave mouth. Silhouettes move, armed, ragged, and waiting.
Stop. Not one step closer, or we'll put you back in the ice where you belong.
Hostile, but alive. Real humans. I have to show them I am not a threat. The reactor is my only argument.
He unseals his pack, lifts out the fusion sphere. Blue light spills across the frost, turning the spear point sapphire.
I am a scientist. This is a fusion core, enough to give your cavern lights, heat, and food. Let me prove it.
Why? Why would a stranger risk his life for us? We've learned to trust nothing but the cold.
Lies. Technology brought the darkness 100 years ago. Kill him before he finishes us.
The old man's fear is real, but Kaede hesitates. She's the real power. I need to speak to that doubt.
We'll take you inside, but one wrong move, and you are dead. Everyone you see here will make sure of it.
Riku connects the fusion core to the Enclave's brittle grid. Sparks fly, and for the first time in decades, lights flicker across the cavern walls.
They stare at the light like a miracle, but I see the dread beneath it. They think this power will burn them.
Within days, a makeshift greenhouse rises near the thermal vent. Transparent plastic and humming lamps create a pocket of spring.
You bring the same machines that swallowed the sun. I was alive when the sky went dark. Your science is our curse.
The council assembles. Faces gaunt from hunger, eyes burn with suspicion. Yuto calls for an immediate vote to halt all reactor use.
Without his technology, we starve by spring. With it, we have a chance. I say we let him prove it. Who else offers a future?
The vote is counted by torchlight. 112 to 97. Riku flinches. The margin is thin as a blade. But the count stands.
A single malfunction, and I am dead. But if these seeds sprout, fear might turn into trust. I have to believe that.
He presses wheat and bean seeds into frozen soil, now warming under the lamp's soft radiance. The first act of a second genesis.
Yuto won't stop. He's gathering those who think you'll bring the darkness back. Your greenhouse better pay off quickly.
3 weeks pass. Green shoots push through the greenhouse soil. The first wheat and beans of a new era.
Proof, but only for a few. I need time, and Yuto won't give it to me.
Yuto tells them the plants are a trick, that your luck will run out.
He needs allies beyond this cave. A shortwave radio, an antenna on icicles, scanning dead air. On the 7th night, a voice cracks through the static, raw with hunger and cold. This is Sendai Enclave. We have 43 alive, 50 dead. Send heat, or we march south and take yours.
A threat and a plea. If I go north, I might broker peace. If I stay, war comes here.
You can't go alone. They'll kill you and strip the reactor. I am coming with you.
Pre-dawn, they load a sled with a spare module. Kaede checks her weapon. Riku checks his calculations.
North, into a desperate horde. But if we unite them, we'll have a network. Worth the risk.
The northern enclave is a fortress of ice and iron. Guards huddle in furs, rifles glinting. They've been expecting guests.
20 rifles, and one skinny warlord grinning like he just found a meal. Don't show fear.
If this goes wrong, the reactor's safety override is my only weapon. I'll have to use it fast.
Guards swarm, strip their weapons, and drag the sled inside. A burly commander gestures for the module. Now,
if you break my seal, the core will cascade. I'm the only one who knows the dampening sequence. Touch it, and you all freeze.
The commander's grin freezes. His men hesitate. Riku's voice carries the weight of someone who once watched a star die.
They're wavering. A bluff can't last. I need to offer them a real way out, or they'll test me.
By firelight, they hammer out terms. Half the reactor's surplus power, monthly. In return, the Sendai will guard the northern pass.
We just handed a warlord a piece of the sun. If he keeps his word, it's a miracle. If not, you've just armed our enemy.
Riku glances back at the frozen fortress. In a world without law, a promise is just frost. But it's a start. Back in the Naka cavern, the reactor's hum shifts to a shriek. Emergency lights flash crimson. Magnetic confinement is failing.
Riku, what's happening? The ground is shaking.
The containment field. If it collapses, this whole cavern becomes a crater. I need to manually realign the coils.
He tears open a panel and thrusts his bare hands into a nest of live wires. The cold burns, but he can't stop.
Everyone to the far tunnels. Go, now, Yuto. Help me clear the greenhouse.
Yuto stumbles forward, not with a weapon, but with a wrench. He braces a buckling pipe while Riku recalibrates.
Almost. There. Got it.
The core is stable, but a hairline fracture runs deep in the primary flux injector. Another surge will shatter it.
You said this was safe. We trusted you, and we almost died in our sleep.
I know what I said, but the only safe sun is the real one. We have to find out what happened to it.
Weeks later, in a cramped corner of the lab, Riku calls up old solar observatory data. Graphs flicker, a century of silence, then a final spike. He zooms into the oscillation band, a repeating pattern, too precise, too rhythmic for a stellar collapse.
A perfect harmonic damping curve. That's not a natural phenomenon. That's engineering.
He pulls out a faded photograph, a sunspot image from the last solar cycle. He holds it up to the dead screen. The contrast is cruel.
Kaede. Look, the dimming pattern. Someone caused it. A structure. An artificial eclipse.
Aliens. Riku, you are talking like Yuto's nightmare. We can't chase fairy tales while people starve.
This isn't a fairy tale. It's physics. If we can prove it, maybe we can reverse it.
He's never been wrong about science. But if the council hears this, they'll exile him for good.
She exhales, then nods. There's an old telescope mount in the ruins of Naka. If the lenses survived, they could build something.
We'll need a launch vehicle too. A balloon, a rocket, something. But we'll see the truth.
In a derelict observatory dome, Riku and Kaede piece together a telescope from salvaged lenses and wire. The cold makes every adjustment agony.
If the balloon ruptures, we lose everything. No second chance. But we have no other way to see.
The launch is a tiny fireball against the eternal night, a hydrogen balloon hauling a single camera toward the dead sun coordinates.
It's transmitting. I can see stars, but there's something else. A grid.
The first processed image resolves. A lattice of geometric shadows eclipsing the sun. A creation, not a calamity.
A Dyson swarm. An intelligence built this. They blocked our star.
Riku projects the image onto the council cave wall. Gasps echo. Yuto's cane clatters to the stone floor.
So you found our murderer. What now, scientist? Shall we pray to it?
We send a signal, a fusion ignition pattern. They'd recognize intelligent fusion. We prove we're worthy of the sun.
The council erupts into shouting. Fear outweighs reason. The vote is recessed, postponed until the oldest fear subsides. The council reconvenes after an anxious hour. Yuto stands first, voice trembling. He speaks of the old world's hubris.
We hid and survived. You want to scream into the dark. They killed the sun. Why would they spare us?
Riku's jaw tightens. He's heard this fear before, the same fear that nearly got him killed in this cave.
If we do nothing, our children die in darkness. If we act, we might reclaim the sky. That's the choice.
The debate rages for 2 hours. Kaede argues logistics. Yuto invokes the ancestors. The tally is called, 7 against, 4 in favor. The council will not support any signal to the alien structure.
So, this is it. They'd rather freeze than risk a response. But I can't afford their fear. Then I'll do it alone. Forbid me if you dare. I won't let humanity freeze for your cowardice.
Riku, you can't. The council will have you exiled, or worse.
They've already exiled me by their fear. I'll bring back the sun, even if they hate me for it.
In a frozen corner of the lab, Riku rigs a jury-rigged transmitter. He sends a simple mathematical code, and waits.
Nothing. They're not listening for basic patterns. I need something that proves controlled fusion.
He sketches the ignition waveform, a modulated cascade matching the reactor's core startup. A signature only an intelligence could craft.
Riku, I've been looking for you. The council knows you've been in the lab. Are you insane?
Maybe, but this waveform is our only hope. If they see it, they'll know we're not animals.
He's going to kill himself with this. But the truth in his eyes, I can't argue with science. If I help you, I am a traitor. My family has lived in this enclave for 2 generations.
And if we don't act, there won't be a third. I need you, Kaede. Please.
She exhales, a small cloud in the chilled air. Then her hand clasps his. The pact is made.
Now, I have to wire every reactor into the grid. If I fail, the Enclave goes dark, or worse.
Night after night, Riku splices bypasses into the power grid, linking every reactor from Naka to Sendai. But Yuto grows suspicious. He watches Kaede's evasions, the late-night movements in the tunnels. He corners her near the reactor chamber, his cane tapping a slow, accusatory rhythm.
Kaede, where is Riku? The power readings are erratic. Don't lie to me.
We're running diagnostics. The old grid is unstable. You know that.
Riku feels the net closing. He works through Frostbite, setting synchronization points. 48 hours left. The final connection sparks under his hands. The waveform generator is ready. Only the sequence remains.
If I trigger this, every light in the Confederation will blaze or blow. There's no turning back.
Riku, Yuto's calling a council meeting. He wants to inspect the reactor. You are out of time.
Then we do it tonight, before they can stop us. Get everyone to the high ground.
Yuto, suspicious, wrenches open a maintenance panel near the reactor. The bypasses are unmistakable, a direct feed to the antenna array.
Riku plans to scream into the void. Stop him, or we all die freezing in the dark.
Riku seals the control room hatch. Kaede braces a heavy wrench against the door. The countdown begins.
They're hammering on the door. Whatever you're going to do it now.
Every reactor sinks at 98%. One surge, and the grid might fry, but it's our only shot. Hold the door. 3, 2, 1.
He throws the master switch. Every light in the Confederation blazes, then drowns in absolute darkness. Power grid feedback loop initiates. Across Naka, lights stutter, fail, fires start in old wiring. A high-pitched whine fills the cavern. The waveform generator is transmitting a pulse that screams intelligence into the void.
It's done. If they're out there, they'll see it. If not, at least we tried.
Outside the control room, smoke chokes the tunnels. Fires lick at old cables. Survivors scream, trapped in the dark.
Riku, you've doomed us all. That signal will bring the builders down on our heads.
He's right to hate me, but if I release the sync now, the grid collapses for good.
Back off, Yuto. He's keeping the reactor stable. Without him, the fire will spread and kill everyone.
Kaie, the secondary coolant pump, bypass it. It's draining power from the antenna array.
For agonizing minutes, Riku manually holds the waveform, bleeding power into the interstellar void. The Enclave groans around them.
There, the full sequence has transmitted. Now we just have to survive the aftermath.
He stumbles back, drained. The control room falls silent except for the dying crackle of overloaded circuits. Outside, the fires are doused by quick-acting survivors. In the flickering emergency light, Yuto's face is a mask of grief and anger. Riku is lifted by rough hands, accused but alive. The signal is gone. Only silence answers from space. 3 days later, under heavy guard, Riku is led to the surface. He scans the empty sky, searching for any sign, any flicker.
Riku, the council votes in an hour. Yuto wants exile, or worse. I've tried to stall, but without results.
If the swarm doesn't move, they'll call it a futile disaster. Kaede, I need a miracle.
Then, the ground lurches. A deep, rolling tremor shakes the ice, cracking the surface beneath their feet.
Look, the swarm. It's moving. The panels are realigning.
High above, the lattice of shadows that blotted out the sun for a century begins to separate, revealing a sliver of deeper darkness.
Is it the builder? Are they answering us?
No message, just motion. They're testing their control, or preparing something.
The guards flee. Kaede pulls Riku toward the council chamber. The swarm's grinding echoes through the caverns.
Yuto, the sky is changing. I need the sensor feeds. You can't kill me now. I might be the only one who can read it.
Riku seizes a sensor terminal as the council flees. The swarm's lattice is splitting, the geometric iris opening after a century.
The light is coming. For the first time in 103 years, a true photon from the sun will touch this world.
He bolts for the surface, Kaede behind him. The airlock cycles and they emerge into a sky being carved by a blade of gold.
Riku, it's the sun. I've only ever known it from old paintings.
A sliver of true sunlight pierces the darkness, a brilliant spear that touches the frozen city. The ice begins to weep.
It's real. I didn't just dream it. But the thermal shock, it'll flood the caverns if we don't act.
The frozen metropolis groans. A cascade of meltwater thunders down ice cliffs, and the ground trembles with new liquid weight.
Everyone, to the high ridge. The caves will flood. Leave everything that isn't alive.
But the greenhouse, the seeds we spent months nursing.
Seeds can be regrown. People can't. Now move.
Flash floods surge through the lower tunnels. Survivors scramble upwards, but some are trapped by debris and churning ice water.
I can hear them. There, behind that collapsed wall. I need a fusion-powered pump, and I need it now.
He rigs a portable pump from the reactor sled, feeding it into the main power line. Water jets out, but the current is relentless.
Kaede, guide the beam. I am going in. Keep the pump running, or we all drowned.
Riku wades into the churning water, pulling a child from a crumbling ledge. Behind him, the ceiling groans, threatening collapse. Yuto struggles to lift a fallen beam off a trapped family. A sudden surge knocks him sideways, his cane swept away in the torrent. Riku lunges, hauling Yuto up by the collar just as the water sweeps the beam away. Their eyes meet, no words.
You risked your life for me, after everything I said.
You are still one of us. Now help me carry the wounded. We still need everyone.
Hours later, the flood slows. On the high ridge, survivors huddle under a pale gold sky. Yuto kneels beside Riku, silent but resolute. The aurora fades. The sun, whole golden, floods the ridge. The sky is blue for the first time in over a century.
I never knew the sun. Now I am terrified. Leadership isn't science. It's carrying everyone's fear.
He stands on a crate platform before the Confederation. Hundreds of faces, frostbitten, tear streaked, fall silent.
We sent a signal not out of arrogance, but because someone had to say we're still here. The builders listened. Now we must prove worthy, not as tribes, but as one humanity.
I called him a fool. I was wrong. He saved my life, and he saved the sky. I stand with him.
Kaede joins him, her hand on his. The reactor sphere, dimmed but glowing, rises between them. The crowd erupts, a raw, ragged cheer. Tears and laughter ripple across the melting landscape. By sunset, the council votes unanimously. Riku accepts the stewardship with quiet reluctance.
I only wanted the sun back. Now I lead. And I still don't know if the builders are observers or something else.
As dawn breaks, a new signal lights up the old terminal. Alien script, translating line by line.
It's from the builders. An apology and an offer of help.
An offer? What could they give us that we haven't already bled for?
We regret the error. The swarm protected your star when we believed you extinct. We can provide fusion cores. Terraforming, the council erupts. Some see salvation. Others see a future where humanity becomes a pet.
If we accept, we'll never know if we could stand alone. The last century must mean something. We decline. Humanity will rebuild itself, or not at all. That is our strength.
He types the refusal. The terminal is silent, then pings one last time. Understood. Farewell. The Dyson swarm, now a distant ring, folds like a wing and accelerates away from the sun, shrinking to a point of light.
They're gone. We're alone again, but now with the sun and our own future to write.
2 years later, the Naka Valley is unrecognizable. Green hills roll where ice once buried the world. Riku and Kaede walk between wooden houses, past children who have never known frost.
It still feels strange. Warmth without a machine. Light without a lamp.
They stop at the last decommissioned solar substitute lamp. Its panels are cracked, but its purpose is done.
We don't need these anymore. The sun does what they did, but better.
And what about you? You've been carrying that reactor core for years. Is it a burden or a reminder?
Both. It kept us alive, and it caused pain, but we're here. That's enough.
He slips the deactivated sphere into his pocket. It no longer glows, but its weight anchors him to the past. Kaede takes his arm, and they watch the sunset. The real sunset, paint the fields gold. The future stretches ahead, uncertain but their own. The long night is finally over. Riku leaves the settlement as dusk falls, climbing a familiar ridge alone for the first time in years.
This is where I first saw the sun. The ice is gone, but the memory of a world without light still clings.
He sits on a rock, the deactivated reactor sphere heavy in his pocket. The sunset burns orange and gold.
I remember the cold, the alarm, the silence of a frozen world. It still haunts me in quiet moments.
A single tear traces down his cheek. He does not wipe it away.
But I also remember Kaede's trust, Yuto's hand, the first green shoot. We survived, together.
He lifts the sphere, cold, dead, a relic, and places it on the rock beside him. Flishens, let the feeling finish naturally. It catches the last light, a faint gleam. No power, no glow, just a memory of a century-old burden.
I carried it to restart the world. Now, the world is restarting itself. I can let go.
A small smile touches his lips as the sun dips below the horizon. The stars will come, and the dawn.